Welcome to our Data Science, Machine Learning and AI course, your first step towards mastering the skills to become an artificial intelligence AI expert. Our current module is all about Python fundamentals. Check out the full playlist in the description for everything we have covered so far and hit subscribe to stay updated with new lessons and future modules. Today we are going to learn about for loop and while loop in Python. For loop and while loop in Python, they are actually used to repeat a task. If we want to perform a task multiple times, a same task repeatedly, we actually use the loops. And in every programming languages, loops is a common control statement, like in Java, like in JavaScript, in C++, C, or Python, or any other programming language. And the syntax for loop in Python is actually very simple, where we use a keyword for and then we have a space. After that, we are actually looking at the value in a sequence, or it can be a range of numbers from where we are looking at value. So what we are doing, we are actually iterating one by one on every value present in a sequence. So sequence can be a list of fruits, like you see a list of fruits here. We have a square bracket, then we have apple as a string value, then a comma with a orange value as a string, then a comma with grapes, and then the list is enclosed as square bracket. And by the way, we will cover list data structures and all methods and operations related with them in few videos after this lecture as well. But for now, just to understand, list is actually a sequence where we have these different values separated by a comma. So we have a fruits list. It's a sequence. We have these values here, and we want to iterate on each of them one by one and then perform some operations on those values. It will be the code that we want to execute. Remember, the same way we did for if-else statements. If we have a for loop, we have a keyword for, then we have a space, then we have a value from the sequence, and we specify the in keyword, and then we have this sequence. We must specify a colon at the end to show that the for loop is ending here. And then in the next line, we have a indentation with a tab. In some code editors, even in Google Colaboratory that we are using, we can just actually get it by pressing enter, or from this point, or by actually even specifying a tab. Remember that all the code that you write inside the for loop must be indented in this way. Anything that is not indented and is outside and is in the same indentation of for will be considered outside the for loop. So let's go and look into an example. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a fruits list, and we write a keyword for, and then we say for each fruit. Now each fruit is a variable. I specified earlier that it is a very good practice if you separate large names of variables with a underscore. And then for each fruit, in is mentioning that where it is a member of a fruit list, which is this. So we specify for each fruit in fruits list with a colon that is showing that here we are ending. So we are going to iterate one by one for each fruit that is a member or that is present in fruits list. Now, and then we have this code indentation here, which you can see, and then we have this print statement to actually print the fruit. I will execute this cell. Yeah. So here it is. So now that was the way to actually print the apple, orange, and grapes. Now over here you can see that I can just do this thing. Yeah. I use a word range. So range is actually a built-in function that can give you the values for a given range with the step value that you define. We will actually look into more details and more use cases for this range function. But one of the use case is that if you want to iterate 5 times, you can just specify range parenthesis 5 and close the parenthesis. So what it will do, for is a keyword, space I will be the variable where the every value of the range will be stored, and we want to the range to have 5 values. Remember, the range starts from 0 if you have not specified. So here we have not specified, so the range will start counting from 0 and it will go up to 4 because it does not consider the last value, the final value that you have specified here. So now if we execute this cell, you see it is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What if we wanted it to print 5 as well? So we need to actually make it 6 and then run the cell. It will print up to 5. And what if we want to start from 1? Then we specify the initial value as 1 and the final value as 6. But remember, final value is not included in the range. So when we print this one like this, you can see it printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you still want to include the final value, then you need to increment it by 1, making it 7, and then run the cell. This time the range will be returning the values one by one. So every time when this loop will be running, first time it saw the value 1. Next time when it comes back, it will see the value 2. It will keep on running until everything in the sequence or in this range that you have specified has been iterated over. So once it has iterated over every element of the sequence, it will stop. That is the stop condition for this for loop. Even over here in this example, it first printed apple, then it went back and printed oranges, then it went back and printed grapes, and after that there was no value in the sequence, so the loop ended. That is how for loops end. Once the value in the sequence, there is no more value in the sequence, then they will end. There is another type of loops which we call while loops. And I normally suggest using more of for loops, but yeah, you can also use while loops as well, and they are very good. They are good when you want them to continue running for a condition. Like if a condition is true, you want them to continue running as long as the condition is true. Very simple to run. You have a while keyword and then you have a space, and after that you have a condition. So while is a keyword for a while loop, followed by a space, then you have the condition. As long as this condition is actually true, you want the following code block to be keep on executing. The example for this can be, we have a variable count which has a value 0 assigned to it, and we want to keep on running the while loop as long as the count value is less than 5. Now we are printing the count. Remember, only use while loops if it is necessary, and make sure that you have a way to control them, otherwise they may keep on running infinitely. And I will even show an example when I see a while loop keep on running infinitely. So over here you see I'm incrementing the count value by 1. We also have covered these increment operations as operators, and you can actually watch them as assignment operators in our video previously in our playlist, and I'll execute this one here. So it will print it 5 times. Now if I mistakenly did not write this line, so what I will just do, I will comment it. So this hash is actually to create a comment. We have discussed it earlier, and if I run it now, you will see that it continuously prints 0 and it's not stopping. It's running infinitely. That is an error. So I need to stop it now. Over here it's very easy to stop things, so I can actually stop. But in reality it should have been like this, so that something is controlling the while loop. Now if I run it again, I can even run it like 10 times, 20 times, no problem, even 15 times. But there should be a way that this condition should remain true for a reason. We can run while loops infinitely as well. There could be some places where we want to keep on running an operation. That is fine, but it must monitor a condition. If a condition is not true, it should report an error and stop the while loop. So you can see, as long as the count value was less than 15, it continued running. In our next video, we are going to learn about break, continue, and pass statements. Please watch the next video. Till then, have a good day.